Have you ever fucked on cocaine? It's nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Shit Radio tonight with a very special episode. I'm, of course, Bill Brasky. I'm joined, of course, by the other host of the show. We got Chris, a.k.a. GNR Liars. We have the wonderful Wasted. And tonight, former member of the Fatcast and somehow member and part-time member or full-time member, we haven't figured it out yet, of Shit Radio Fans. So, gentlemen, welcome to the show. And I think we got a few things to talk about. Anyone want to take the lead here?
Hello. Welcome back, everyone. It's been a while since I think when we were setting up to get on tonight. Very impromptu. I got a call about a half an hour ago, said we're doing a show. So when we were all setting up, I think it was you, Brasky, that mentioned this is the first time the four of us has been together to do a show since what, January, February? So it's very exciting.
Hey guys,
it's
what's
been a
up?
minute.
It's been a while. There's a reason to for this gathering, right? A good one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to talk about it.
Is it like my intervention?
Not yet.
No,
Not yet.
Wasted there'd be armed Chinese men if this was your intervention, okay, buddy? And there'd be lots of them. This is because earlier today, I don't know if our listeners, and which I imagine they must, since we're going to be on GNR forums for where you can find the show and on YouTube. But we had a little bit of news today pop up. GNR Liars is probably right now getting all the information together. Franz's name was actually in a legal document now in a court case. And so, Franz, you are now famous forever in the United States court system. You've been used as evidence. So that's something interesting. And it turns out that our little friend Fernando Al-Assad, well, gee golly almighty, he acted a little bit inappropriate and Me Too'd. Basically, he said, Harvey Weinstein, hold my beer. So, since you were mentioning said court documents about the infamous chat that was occurred at the War Room Discord, where Fernando Al-Assad, or Labias, whatever the fuck he wants to enunciate his last name as, came on there. Would you like to discuss really briefly your part of this federal court case?
Yeah, sure, man. I mean, I saw that too, and there was a mention of this interview Fernando did on the War Room, and they were specifically talking about the incident where I called out Fernando in the chat for stealing my picture, and because I made this picture of basically it was their picture. I just changed it. It was the popular of the Appetite for Destruction cross, which is on Appetite for Destruction, of course, the replacement cover, and I put the COVID masks on them, on their faces, and made a text saying Appetite for
Vaccination?
Vaccination, yeah, that was it. Yeah. And so he took that picture when he saw it, and he posted it all over social media. And then it really took a flight. Shirts were printed, and companies were printing it on hats and stuff. And so then he found out I was the one in the chat. I was called Source Out at the time. It was during COVID, of course. He found out that it was me, and then he reacted on it, how the guys loved it and that sort of shit. It was basically it's the evidence is a bit out of context being used. I mean, it implies that it's about the Kat Bendoza. But
would I be wrong, friends, in saying that he pretty much laughed off stealing your intellectual property that you created, and then he used it and he profited off of it, and his only response was, "Like boys loved it."
No,
that was my question too. Were you compensated financially in any way, shape, or form for this?
No, because people who came to me and said, "Hey, man, they killed your YouTube channel because you used their images, and now he's using yours." And I was like, "Yeah, well, whatever." I mean, the picture was already 80% theirs, and it didn't occur to me that he was laughing. I mean, I was quite honored because it seemed for me, and I will, you can listen to this fragment here.
Oh, you made that, Sarsa? Dude, we loved that. We loved it. And my bad, I didn't give you credit. I am so sorry. Somebody posted something and the guys were laughing. The guys were fucking laughing. I am so sorry, Sarsad. By the way, we love that photo. That photo was fucking, you made it for the guys. The guys fucking love it, Sarsad. Did I say the names right? Starside? I mean, sounds like, I hope I'm not just saying something.
So anyways, when you hear it, it almost is like as if, they really seem to enjoy the picture and they genuinely laughed about it. And I didn't take it as them laughing in my face for stealing my picture. Definitely not. It's not how I experienced it.
It doesn't sound like it's that way, in my opinion. But
I didn't mean like they were laughing at your face, because I don't think you'd have the balls to do that, number one. No. Number two, what I was meaning by it was they kind of just blew by it. Like, oh, yeah, you came up with this great idea and we're going to mass market it and try to make some money off of it. But we really enjoyed it. Thanks. More just kind of laughed it off like, hey, so you're the brainchild and the only thing I come up with is fucking toy trucks. So that's
beach towels. Don't forget the beach towel.
Well, that is not how I heard it or how I interpret, how I took it. And for me it was nothing. I mean, I just made a comment about it, and I didn't see it as stealing the picture. I mean, it was their picture already. I mean, so yeah, I didn't take it like that, but maybe it is. I don't know. But
in all fairness, Banksy has made quite the career out of taking other people's pictures and modifying them to send out a message, right? So.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, it wasn't them that, I don't know. I didn't, it's being mentioned.
I think every year.
What?
I'm sorry. I was going to say, I think every year around Christmas time, GNR, their management, and the band itself should be sending thank you letters, maybe a gift basket, a fruit basket, definitely not a fruitcake, but something nice to fans every year, because he spent more time remastering their old shit that they've just left to, decay, and actually spreading it out to the fans to get people enthusiastic about, I don't know, shit, I just saw this great show that I watched online. You know what? I want to go buy tickets. France has done this at fucking no expense to the band. He's done this all on his own, and he's charged fans absolutely zero for it. Franz, you are the hero of our community. I've said that many, many times, and we appreciate it. But I wish the band would go, hey, you know what, Franz, maybe your videos, maybe they got a couple more hundred asses in seats at our concerts. Thank you. I think they at least, you deserve that.
Well, I don't, the thing is, when I had my YouTube channel, they monetized it and I didn't earn any cent from it. And I was okay with that. I mean, I never needed the money, but, and I understand if they want to get off YouTube or, want to do something with their copyright, which they never did, but then just announce it and say it like, hey man, we don't want to be on YouTube anymore, and not hire some clowns to fuck off people and their channels. That's kind of sad. I mean, if they would have just said it. And it's also being mentioned in that article or in the lawsuit file case is how Fernando made it clear that he had the ability to strike videos and stuff. It's also explicitly being mentioned. But with the copyright infringement, I think it's not a big deal. I mean, it seems that they had this contract where it said that all pictures were owned by them, and they paid her for it, and there's a contract. I mean, I think she doesn't have a case with that, but the sexual harassment is a thing.
Well, let's rewind for a second here. Liars, can you inform our audience about what lawsuit we're talking about? I know that we're knowledgeable about it, but can you tell us about the wonderful former Mrs. Fortis, on the side?
Oh, she's used to be.
What's going on?
She used to be Fortis's wife.
No, she used to be Fortis's girlfriend there for a long time.
Oh, okay. So she's a former model. Her name is Kat Bendoza, And she was the photographer for Guns N' Roses for about 12 years. And her contract apparently was up in 2022, and that's where this lawsuit stems from. Is that she put in a copyright for some pictures that she took post 2022, and basically Beta has laughed her off, saying that these are property of Guns N' Roses, not you. Your contract expired in 2022. Anything you were paid, what was her exact words? I think her exact words were, you were paid extraordinarily well for your time and the pictures you did take during that time. But after 2022, you were no longer under contract, even though you continued taking pictures. So she has filed a lawsuit against Guns N' Roses for that. And as well, there's a subsequent lawsuit against Fernando for sexual harassment during that time. And if you, it's just pages and pages long. If you read through it, she basically says that she had no one to go to because they're, it's all a family. It's all they are. And it's the mother, the daughter, and Fernando, the son, who run the show. And she was like, who do I turn to? So this lawsuit has now been filed. So, I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but if I think anything is that the sexual harassment charge will somehow go away and she will get her copyright, prints, money, settlement for her pictures. That's what I think is going to happen. But what do I want to happen?
Have you read a little bit, Chris, have you read a little bit more yet regarding the actual statement she's made about how Fernando sexually harassed her? Do you have that available to you right now?
Well, yeah. I mean, like I said, it's pages and pages long. The details of what she expression that's from Beta. That whenever she tried to confront Labias about the issue, she was habitually stonewalled, gaslit, or psychologically manipulated to make her believe that she was not the owner of the photographs. As for the actual sexual harassment, no, I haven't come across it yet.
Wow! I've seen a few.
In the Rolling Stone article, like kind of quite far down, she talks about him trying to force himself on her in a dark alley outside her house.
Oh, that's wonderful. No, I haven't, because maybe it was this afternoon when I was on the phone. Like I said, this all happened really quickly, so we're trying to get everything on the fly here. But I couldn't open up the Rolling Stone article because it was region blocked. So I'm on my computer now, so I've got it right here.
I think.
Well, yeah, it gets a little more interesting too.
She's using it as leverage. And probably she was dating Richard Fortus, so that gave her like she was on the inside, and then when she wasn't, she was like on the outside and getting treated badly. So she's using it as leverage to get what she wants, isn't she? But if you read, I posted one of the paragraphs somewhere, and then I just took it down because it's very it's terrible, like what she's actually accusing him of. You know what I mean? It's not just, oh, he sent me some, I love yous. Like, he sent her 500 I love yous. And she claimed that, early on in the article, it claims that she was just, he was aggressive and dismissive to her, like not very nice to her. But then as she goes further down, it comes to like a couple of paragraphs where she's basically accusing him of like trying to like force himself on her. That's what the word she uses. Forced himself on her, and then she never spent any more time in the same room with him again to avoid him. So this is the end of Guns N' Roses.
It's the end of Guns N' Roses management. They're gonna have to go find someone else. I mean,
this is not a band that needs any of this type of light on them. You can have the whole of social media light going on and saying, "Wait a second, who are these two other guys in the band?" Because people pile on, don't they? It kind of snowball.
But there were some extra rancid details, like, for instance, when LeBay sent Benzova a lewd and vulgar picture of condoms. Then Lebes commanded Benzova come to watch a movie and sleep with him, implicitly asking for her to have sex with him. Another specific instance occurred when at 2 a.m, when Lebes sent Benzova a smutty image depicting cunnilingus. Another specific occurred when Lebes sent a lewd video suggestive of bestiality, whereby an ape approaches an adult male human being. Wow, that's also in the
Dirty.
And then there's also another section that says from behind. Then the ape reaches for his penis, the ape grabs his penis, and then the ape pulls on the human penis. I mean, that's literally also in the document. I mean, that's what you were looking for, right, Brasky?
Yes, he's going all
absolutely.
out.
There's also the thing where it's 6 a.m. in the morning, and he's requesting her to come to his hotel room to drink wine with her. And she's like, no, I'm good. And he's like, no, you must. Come on. I mean, I'm just really kind of getting into the details and reading it right now. But I mean, if these accusations are true, I mean, it's going to be a thing where from a PR image and a brand image, Slash and Duff can't be associated with this. They can't have this guy being the manager of Guns N' Roses. And Slash is the biggest publicity whore there is. And he wants to be on all the VH1 shows, the ABC Good Morning America. He wants to be, Slash, Luther Slash, who appears everywhere. He can't be associated with a band that employs this man as the manager. And that leads us to the real interesting take in all this after you sit back and look at it, that, Axel put himself in a position where he put people that he considered family in a very important position as management. So they're in charge. So how does he fire them? How do you tell Beta, like, hey, you know what, I'm going to fire your son, who's the band manager, because, he pretty much sexually harassed the fucking shit out of our photographer, and I got to let him go, or, Live Nation's not going to want to, promote our tours. So this might actually be the end of Guns N' Roses.
I think, like Fernando, he's always finding new ways to for Guns N' Roses not to release new material. So he probably called Axel in the middle of the night and say, Axel, I've got a good idea how we can get out of this. I can have Kat Bendoza accuse me of rape. Then we can just never release CD2 ever again.
Well, that's not all.
Listen, buddy, the General and Monsters didn't go over well, and they're having a real hard time getting this vinyl thing taken care of. So, all those times that you try to forcibly fuck the photographer, let's leak it to the press now, huh?
So there's another section that says that English was not her primary language, so Lebes would humiliate Benzova for her accent, the way she spoke, and national origin. Lebes called Benzova Russian, numerous knowing Russia was not her country of origin, but rather with the intent to incite anger and humiliate Benzova. At other times, Lebes would tell Benzova to quit being Russian if she had a question or resistance. This name-calling oftentimes occurred in public and in front of crew in order to disrespect, humiliate, and demean Benzova, should I say.
Yeah, that's what you do to hot girls, though, isn't it? You neg them. So this is all evidence of harassment. It's not good.
Well, it goes beyond. Hold on, wait a second. I just saw something right now, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm seeing another quote here that he was physically touching her, coercing her, continually trying to force himself on to Benzova in a dark alley outside of her house. So being a scumbag, number one, and hitting on a broad nonstop, and she keeps saying no is one thing. But, physically touching her and, creeping her the fuck out outside of her residency, that's a whole new level of fucked up. If this doesn't get this guy canceled, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. On another...
forcing himself on her, that's what she said. He was trying to force himself on her in the dark alley. I thought it was a joke. I had to check if it wasn't like some kind of deep troll from...
Yeah. So on another occasion, on or about October 2022, while Benzova was with a friend at a hotel, Lebes, wearing only a towel showing his chest and groin area, yelled at Benzova, scolding her in order to humiliate her and show dominance in front of her friend. Those are some juicy details, man.
As Miser, like, infiltrated Team Brazil or something.
No, wait a second. How old's Kat? Is Katrina over the age of 18? Because if that's the case, then Miser probably didn't have anything to do with her.
Yeah.
Another detail somebody saw somewhere is that Kat Bendoza used to live with Fernando's wife, with her boyfriend and Fernando and his wife. So they're friends, Fernando's wife and Kat Bendoza.
But did you guys know that GNR actually sued her before she sued GNR?
Yes, they sued her last year.
No, but they also sued him like a month ago or 2 weeks ago because he claimed the copyright thing. And but it all seems that, because also another detail is that when she was at her last show and somewhere in the end of 2022, she made an Instagram post with a cryptic message, which now all comes together because it was about. I should read it. I don't have it in front of me, but she already let know that there were things wrong, So that's also another thing.
Also, Fernandez had a sort of Instagram post or something where he kind of thanked her for being the photographer, but also said that she's annoying as fuck.
Okay.
So I guess she goes around with the camera taking photos and pushing her way in, when Axel's eating a burger or something. So she's probably like always annoying them, I don't know, with the camera. That's what I think he's referring to. But when you add up all the details, it just doesn't look good for him.
But on the other hand, what I wonder is, because I'm afraid he will get away with this because,
not these days.
Fernando, his mother will probably protect him. And, Axel seems to cannot live without Beta to be functioning. And, Fernando must have seen Axel as his father because, he grew up with Axel, basically.
That's nothing compared to once social media get a hold of it. Everybody online will be calling for him to, be sacked. And if they don't sack him, then they're basically supporting, sexual harassment in the workplace.
Yeah, sure, but how does that work? They are the management. Can the management fire himself?
Let me ask you this.
He has to resign.
Guys, let me ask you this to interrupt. We have the most woke, I don't know how to say, virtue signaling member of the band in Duff McKagan, who's nothing about anything but women's rights. This man goes on and preaches about it nonstop. So how does Duff continually be in a band that actually has this man as his manager? If I'm right here, Duff McKagan has been nonstop, pretty much, virtue signaling women and the woke agenda now for the last,
few years,
10 years,
number of years, yeah. But let
me
ask
how does
you this,
But does that mean they're going to have to sack Axel? This is what I was saying. The whole band is kind of on the edge of being B2'd. Anyway, Fernando, having these allegations brings more light on these guys. They're like Motley Crue or something. How are Motley Crue not cancelled?
It's a good question. But let me ask you this, though, Brasky.
The old cat box.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Brasky. If, what you say about Duff is, assumably that's true, right? Because he's very public about it. That's his persona now. You mean to tell me he knew nothing about this? His wife, who was probably friends with Kat on tour, wouldn't know anything about this for the last
however long
why? Going on?
Do you know why? Because what I've been saying, Slash, Duff, and Axel aren't buddies. They aren't hanging around after the show. They're like the fucking Eagles. They come up in separate tour buses. They have separate management. Just because Fernando is the manager of Guns N' Roses, he's not Duff's manager. He's not Slash's manager. They only interact when it's like, oh, it's catering, and then let's go do a show, and then afterwards we might grab a drink. But they're not hanging out. They're not a close-knit family like they like you.
I understand that. I understand that, but they are around each other for a fair bit of time, and especially the wives and girlfriends and Fernando, they're going to be behind backstage during the show. They're going to see. I would assume that Fernando doesn't just turn this on and turn this off at will when he wants to. He's a creep, right?
Oh, I imagine he does.
You think?
I imagine he does, dude.
So you think
because you got to imagine this way. Well, look at this way. Susan and Megan are friends. They hang out together. So Slash's girl and Duff's girl are hanging out together. They already got into a Beta, so they're already separate away from them because they don't like Beta. They already got into it on Instagram a few years ago. So they're at one end of where the fucking facility is. They're at the other end. So what happens at night when, Duff and Slash go home with their ladies and Axel's going around doing whatever the fuck he's doing, that's when the shit's happening. It's not happening, 15 minutes before the show. It's happening in the after show. It's my imagination.
So
now, another thing this leads to the question too. Let me just finish this quick thought process here. How does Slash, who appears in SpongeBob movies and like everything else, like I previously stated, how can he be associated with this and not get canceled? You know, he's got a pretty dark history and past, and he's done a real good job at rehabbing it in the last, 25 years. But how does he continue in the band with, Fernando Weinstein as the fucking manager?
Well, that's the thing, right? He's going to have to disassociate himself with it, and he's kind of lucky that way because Slash and Miles and the conspirators they just announced a U.S. tour starting, starting early next year, right? So he has the opportunity to get away. As does Duff. Duff just released an album too, a few weeks ago. So he's going to be doing his own scene. So it's the perfect opportunity for those guys to get away from this almost organically, if that makes sense, without really having to maybe say anything in depth about it, because they're they can deflect by saying, well, I'm focused on my tour right now. We the Guns N' Roses tour is over. We're not together, blah blah blah, something like that, right?
Well, let me ask you another question. Melissa's been MIA for the last couple of shows. Could this be a situation where Fernando pulled the shit with Melissa too? Because everyone was saying, oh, Melissa doesn't feel good, she's sick, blah blah blah, but she was missing the last few shows they did of this last tour. Maybe it's a situation that Fernando was, not just doing this to Kat, he was also doing this to Melissa. We don't know. I can't say that's the case. I don't know, but it seems it's not just a one-time thing, and this is kind of probably his personality. So when it comes down to it, you got all the virtue signalers as stuff. You got fucking My GNR run by Downsy. I mean, I want to hear what the largest forum has to say about this. I imagine that even GNR Reddit right now, even with their, ridiculous moderation policy right now, that it's breaking that, hey, this is some serious shit that's going down here, and the public's not a big fan of this. So I just don't see how this is not the end of Guns N' Roses, because I think at the end of the day, if you give Axl the choice of, hey, hang it up, sell your publishing rights next year or 2025 like you can do, because you get them back from Sanctuary, that, this might be the end, gentlemen. We might not get the AFD, 40th anniversary. This might just be it.
Well, I mean, it might be the end. They're already dead, though. That's the thing, right? Their tour is done. They're not releasing any music. And what they are releasing is
supposedly Liars. No, supposedly they got Atlas with Monster coming out as another vinyl, just like they did perhaps with The General. So they got shit lined up to keep doing their trickle music. And then, the 40th anniversary of Appetite for Destruction's in 2027. So you're 3 years away from that?
It'll be a year too late.
Why?
Is it 2026?
No, same as they did with the other Appetite.
Right.
Oh yeah, 2028. Gotcha. Fucking assholes. I mean,
Yeah,
friends,
but listen up.
continue?
But imagine, imagine you would. Oh fuck, man! I lost it. Damn. Well, the thing is, no, that's what I want to say. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, I need to sleep actually. But yeah, now I know what to say. Because I'm not sure if she has like these allegations or if she has them only by email, or that Fernando sent her text messages to prove that shit. Because you never know. Maybe it's not right, or I mean, if there isn't any physical proof, would you think she had the case?
She's making it up. No, it's just possible that she's exaggerating it for her case and hoping to scare them, leverage. But what she's saying is very, very serious
and detailed.
It seems too serious to go in. The problem is she's doing it when she wants something. She's in this legal battle. She didn't just do it at the time, which is
I mean, she could be using that as leverage. Yeah. I mean, she could have, but behind the scenes, she could have been saying, hey, listen, your son's a fucking creep and he's been doing this to me. Give me what I want, or I'm going to expose him. And I could totally see, I mean, I don't know these people personally. I just know them from the media and what we've been, what we've been fed. But I could totally see Beta responding to her saying, go for it. Try your best. You know what I mean? Because she seems like an arrogant cunt, Right. So Kat was like, okay, well, fuck you. I tried. You didn't want to give him money. Well, guess what? I'm going to expose your son. I think she called him bluff.
And maybe it's like an ongoing thing anyway that everybody knows. And I don't know who she spoke to. It would help if she told somebody like a few years ago, or she'd made some other complaint. And then, but the only way they find out normally is if a load more victims or accusers come out. Like if there's a trailer body behind him and they all come out and say, yes, he did this to me, that's when it'll get really, really bad for him.
Yeah, but God, I really hope that he gets sacked, man. And because I really want to like fucking make a video where it sums up all the fuck ups that Team Brazil had in the last decade, because there's many, man. I can name 10 easily. And, imagine canceling Axel by bringing up the events that inspired Out to Get Me with Elise rape and subsequent hiding from the police. And so Axel will cancel a new album, and so angry fans with pitchforks will be soon on your front door.
It's not a good situation.
Or maybe trigger Erin and her claims that she made about tying her up and raping her.
Exactly. But all that's been handled back in the 90s. That was a smart thing to do. They dealt with the case, so you can't bring that case again. So if they'd
I can if I want. I can make a video.
Yeah, you can. That's the whole thing. It's all about public opinion. So as soon as now you're guilty before being proven innocent, not the other way around.
If you make a super cool video.
Public opinion.
Yeah, but if you make a super cool video and you mention Erin by Axel raping Erin, and you mention also the kid they raped, when he hid, and then like really fucking cancel Axel by this video, that would be great, man.
I think it could, if there were more people coming out of the woodwork, then it could happen. But it seems like there aren't. Like he had that time where he did some questionable things, but he apologized and he went to court, didn't he? Dealt with it. So, and then ever since he's been like hiding in his hotel room, binge eating.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also Beta's jealous bitch, man. She's always jealous with other women that go around with Axel. So,
yeah.
But exciting times.
Let me ask you this, gentlemen.
That's another thing. They don't need to force people to do they? They're rock stars. They've got like girls like trying to get into their room and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, gentlemen. We saw Axel earlier this year having Carrie Underwood perform on stage with him numerous times, either at her concerts or GNR shows. I mean, you can't really have Carrie Underwood now showing up to do a show with Guns N' Roses or Axl Rose when his manager's out there being accused of such accusations. Now, once again, we at Shit Radio don't know if any of these statements are true. We're just going off what the news outlets such as Rolling Stone and other magazines are reporting, and we're just saying the news that we're hearing. We weren't there. We don't know. These are all hypotheticals. But at the same time, all the mainstream, like the welcoming that Axl Rose has got, be going on stage with Elton John or Billy Joel or Carrie Underwood, people are going to shun Axl. He's no longer going to be invited to the cool parties if he's associated with this. And I just think it puts him in a position that he's got to choose people that he considers his family, which that's supposedly the number one thing in his life, or his music career. Because I think that's where we're at, guys. I think that's really where we're at.
I 100% agree with you, Brasky. The last I finally got this stupid Rolling Stone article. That's why I've been quiet. I've been reading it. The last paragraph in this Rolling Stone article is really damning towards Tobias Fernando, and it really makes him out to be a monster, right? Pun intended.
Well, read it.
So, as a result of Benzova's rejections, according to the suit, Tobias allegedly set out to prove his dominance over her through other means. He allegedly lowered Benzova's compensation, withheld money owed to her, demoted her to cheaper hotels, including one time when she had COVID-19, demanded she pay for flights Team Brazil had allegedly already agreed to pay for, and intentionally withheld photo credits. Like, that's your management team right there, Mr. Axl Rose, and your only move right now is to disassociate yourself with this man. If he wants his career to last, like you were just saying, Brasky, if he wants his career to keep going, he can't be associated with this man anymore. Whether he's proven to be innocent or not down the line, at this point in time, he can't be associated with him.
But who do they bring in?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. At this point, it doesn't matter. Damage control. Bring in a corporation. That's all he could say. I am now being represented by Bachman, Phillips, and Schuster. You know what I mean? It's just a name.
To quote
right?
the great Jim Ross, to quote Jim Ross, "Oh God, that's Irving Azoff's music I hear."
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Azoff put it together. I mean, the ultimate turnaround. Like, hey, you know that the reunion that we wanted to have happen back in 2008, 2009. Well, the guy who put it all together back then, well, he's your new manager now, and boy, does he got a great relationship with Live Nation. So there you go.
You know, the thing is also weird is that how they again refused to pay her. At least that's what the article says, and how they did that like many times. Like for instance, they refused to pay Tom Zoutad. And they refused to pay Robert John. You know, he's still angry and he's selling the footage. They also refused to pay the guys that filmed the April Fool's show and the Troubadour back then. And they also had beef with some guy who made them Litos, you know, the designs. They refused to pay him, or, you know, I mean, what the fuck, man? It's not that they're fucking hobos or what.
Even
Izzy, of course, Izzy. I forgot to mention Izzy. Yeah.
And Pittman.
And Pittman, that's right. Pittman left.
They didn't pay him either, did they? That's
right.
what they do.
Well, supposedly they didn't pay Brand.
I was just going to say that
for the remixes.
Wasn't the rumor going, because Brian and Melissa are together, are they not?
Yeah, from what I've known, yes, they are.
I don't know if romantically or but they're together some way, right? Whether it's professionally or
they were also romantically.
Yeah. And I don't know. The rumor going around at one point was that the reason Melissa was in the band was because they owed Brian so much money that.
Oh, I never heard that.
Am I off base on that one? But
it's rumors, that's right?
Exactly
the reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. People spread those rumors because they want to seem cool. But yeah, that was the word on the street that Brian never got paid for the remixes. That's why he's on all the credentials for all the releases they've done so far. If you know, it's Hard School, perhaps it's all Brian.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Frank has never actually been, I guess Frank has never been the replacement drummer. He's only been listed as the touring drummer. They've never officially moved on from Brian. They just said he wasn't going to be touring anymore. And the remix album, supposedly by a insider, not me by any means, claimed that Brian never got paid for the remixes. And one of the reasons that Melissa got hired immediately after Pittman and Axel, they're falling out over the lawsuit because of Pittman sampling music on Riyadh and other things from other songs that were created by other artists, that Melissa got the nod for the job to repay Brain. Like, hey, we're sorry, and future releases too, we'll make sure to throw you on the credits. That's the rumors and innuendos. Once again, we don't know, but this is what people have been saying now for years.
Unbelievable, man.
Well, Franz, is there anything else? Because Franz is a true gentleman. Like, Wasted, we get up around 8 o'clock in the morning his time. Right now, it's, you know, it's a little 9:30ish mine time. Liar's time, it's around 7:30. And poor Franz, it's like 3:30, almost 4 in the morning. Franz, we're going to move on from this topic. Is there anything else you want to say on this topic, brother, before you punch out into sleep? Because we're going to talk some new GNR.
Yeah, sure, man. And I just want to say to be continued.
To be continued.
Well, on that note, we're going to wish our dear friend Franz a good night, and he'll be back on Shit Radio here in the future. Folks, this wasn't a planned episode. Me and Chris have been talking now for the last few weeks about when we're going to get everything off the ground and going. Life issues on both our ends have prevented us from being able to really do the show the way we wanted to so far, but this is such major breaking news that we wanted to address it. Since we still got Wasted here, and Chris is here, and I'm here, gentlemen, you ready to talk some general and monsters? And Wasted, I know you're going to have in-depth descriptions on this, but one thing that I wanted to bring up beforehand was me and Chris were talking about it about a week and a half ago after the songs came out, and we're listening to the general. And if you listen to the lyrics, please, Daddy, don't. I swear I won't. I'll be good next time, and I'm awfully sorry. The only thing that came to my mind, and I said this to Chris, and gee golly almighty, and I hope he can back me up on this. He laughed for a good minute or two.
I sure did.
Folks, if
I'm
you ever
laughing
watch the
right
great
now.
television show. All right. Well, there's a great TV show called It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's one of my all-time favorites. I watch with my wife all the time. There's an episode on that show called The Nightman Cometh. It's about Charlie throwing a play for his fictional character, the Nightman. The Nightman is a evil, devilish creature that comes in and rapes a little boy, and then the Dayman comes out and saves him. Now, we're gonna send friends the video clip afterwards here, so you can kind of get a video comparison of what we're talking. I don't know how we're gonna do some copyright, but we'll figure it out. If not, you can look it up on YouTube. Nightman Cometh, Always Sunny, and you'll understand. But as soon as I heard the general, the only thing that went through my mind is Axel was watching Always Sunny in Philadelphia, saw the Nightman Cometh episode, and he wrote a song about it. Because that's it. Now, Chris, that's where I wanted to lead off, and I'll throw it over to you.
I hope I'm using this term correctly. For posterity, It's Always Sunny is a very, very funny show, and this seems like a very heavy topic. But in the episode, it's hilarious. It's really funny, and if you have to watch the show, you have to be familiar with the characters, especially Charlie and his mannerisms and the way he speaks, his tone that he uses. And no, I'm not using posterity in the right definition right now, so I take that back. It's a very heavy topic, but it's really, the episode's hilarious, and just the fact that I could see this the Guns N' Roses song, The General, seems very, very serious. But if you add the Nightman Cometh to it, it just adds a whole new element to the song and takes it up a level to absurdly funny. Guys,
that's where we are with that. And then Wasted, I know you're going to go in descriptions of both of them, which we can't wait to do. Then we got to talk about your biggest fan after this. And then when I heard Monsters, I said also to Chris, was that to me, it just sounds like a sleazy strip club song, like not a good strip club, not like one where you're paying, a $20 cover charge. We're talking like, hey, the draft beer is $1, and it's probably at a truck stop somewhere. But to me, Monsters just sounds like a sleazy strip club song. And, for that reason, I'm kind of a fan of it. But that's my takeaway from those two songs, that The General is basically The Nightman Cometh from Always Sunny. Monsters is a dirty, dirty strip club song. And those are my two thoughts. Now, Liars, I know, or Chris, you're going to have your statements on it. And afterwards, Wasted, I want you to take us down whatever fucked up road is in your head.
just before Wasted goes, I'll be back in 5 minutes, boys. I'm going to take a little break here. I got to go take a shit.
All right. Well, enjoy your shit. During that shit period, Wasted, break down The General.
My lyrical take on it was Ragnar Don't. I see a goat. I swear I'll find more, and I'm awful sorry.
Jesus Christ. Why do you guys pick on Ragnar so much? I fucking love Ragnar. I don't know why everyone just ruthlessly shits on him. And then he responds back with such vicious anger. I love Ragnar. I think he's one of the funniest posters ever in GNR. But goddamn, you guys are fucking brutal to him. Earlier tonight on Bad Apples, I actually posted this. Fernando don't. Kat said she won't. He'll be good next time. And Axel's very sorry.
Can anybody tell me why her ass just won't quit? Can anybody help me? Her ass just won't quit.
You just did that at a fucking crowded 7-Eleven.
Everybody's looking at me like I'm crazy. I think the expectation, is the thing with the General, is that, because of the quote from Baz and Axel's, the sequel to Estranged, everybody kind of, a bit like This I Love, everybody expected a sort of epic GNR song, in their head. So the expectations, and then it's kind of like a comedy. The Axl's first line is "Daddy don't" in that weird, like people said, Herbert the pervert voice. It's just totally opposite of what everybody wanted. You know, they wanted like Estranged 2, and they got like this weird, like Korn. You know that song, "Daddy" by Korn? I mean, it actually should be banned. It's one of the most disturbing songs you've ever heard. So yeah, I don't know. You know, that's how I see the General. It's kind of like one of those. It's from that era, isn't it? Well, you know, people complain when you say it's like new metal, or if they were trying to do such and such. You know, it just happened by accident. It does.
I saw a great post on Bad Apples Forum. I don't remember who posted it, but kudos to them. They made the post of, you know, when they were expecting the General to come out, that it'd be something that you can, you know, be sitting in your car and, you know, you're at a stoplight and you could be blaring it, rocking out to it. And that's kind of what we're expecting. I don't think you could be sitting with a, you know, your convertible top down and be cranking, "Please, Daddy, don't. I swear I won't. I'll be good next time." I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, I don't know if you want to play that song in public around anybody.
No, it's not a sort of convertible kind of outdoor family barbecue song. It's like some weird Korn Nirvana song about child abuse. And I remember
it made Nirvana's "Rape Me" sound tame.
I think it is kind of like on the chorus. That's what I get is like Nirvana. It's like the high flying guitars and Axl. It is epic. I can kind of see if a hoarder or somebody had heard this song, like a clip of it, or had it in their file and nobody knew about it, they would think that, you know, it's a special song because it's so different, you know. And Axl does go for it on the vocal, on the chorus. That's a pretty heavy vocal, but it's not Estranged 2. It's not like a power ballad that's building and emotional and has momentum. It's kind of shaped a bit like Prostitute, you know. It sort of lopes along for a bit and then he bursts and does his chorus, and it's quite a simple structure, isn't it? It's got, you know,
we got to have ET back on the show. ET will be back on Shit Radio, folks, just so you all know. But ET, you could bring up that I thought Estranged was based off some Del James book about some a bad relationship between a husband and wife. So that you can kind of see how Estranged, you know, that could be based off of it. But I don't know where the General would be based off of it. I mean,
I think
I don't know.
I think what Axl is thinking of, in terms of lyrically, he's being introspective on Estranged, and then he's also being very dark and introspective on the General. But I think the General is more like the original abuse, which led to the person who's talking in Estranged. The reason why the person in Estranged has problems is because Axl didn't deal with his abuse in the General, you know. Like, it sort of flashes back like a movie to the General. The Daddy Don't part is like a movie, and then it also, in the chorus, is kind of him kind of saying that, you know, his only regret was he didn't deal with his feelings. So, and that led him to be Axl Rose, I suppose, being like angry, having a hair trigger temperament, and then leading to like problems in his life, which leads to Estranged. But saying that it's the sequel to Estranged is very, but he said it's kind of like the sequel to Estranged, but it's not really, is it? You know, it's a bit misleading for people who want Estranged. You know, There Was a Time is more like Estranged in that way. That's what people want.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on that completely.
They don't really want a sort of grunge, Alice in Chains, or Tool sounding song with a Judas Priest screaming chorus from Axl. But I suppose it was like somebody said that it was a B-side. So who's expecting it to be good? And the fact that it's on a 7-inch, the only way you can actually hear it legally is on a B-side to a 7-inch single, and nobody has a record player. So unless you put it out digitally, you're basically trying to hide the song. So it is just like it's part of like Axl's biopic, you know, like Mick Wall. The lyrics correspond to some section in Mick Wall's book where Axl talks about the abuse from his stepdad and his sister getting like beaten for the misdeeds that he did. Like if he stayed out late, his dad would beat his sister, and that's what "daddy don't" actually means. I think, don't beat my sister. You know, I'll be good from now on. But I think he evolved it, and eventually, I think in that interview he says that there was a point where he said, "Fuck that, you know, I'm not going to be good anymore." So I think it all corresponds to things that he said in interviews. So it's possible to work it out in some way. But nobody does that, you know? You know what I mean? In the outside world, like people just want kind of like basically Velvet Revolver or You Could Be Mine or Hard School. They just want that with easily understandable lyrics. Like, so it's kind of like Axl's artistic kind of side project inside Guns N' Roses, where he does these things like My World. And that's kind of like Monsters. That's kind of like, and it's like, he wouldn't really do that if he was just with Flash. He wouldn't do like a My World hybrid with kind of Layla or November Rain. But somehow he did it. But in the case of Monsters, people seem to really like it more than the general, because it's more accessible to people. But it's more fun, isn't it?
I mean, it's a lot more enjoyable. Something I could actually listen to, and I have listened to often. I think I've listened to the general maybe twice because it's just an uncomfortable song. It's just something that you're like, no, thank you. I'm going to move on from this. Where Monsters is like, all right, yeah. Axl's voice, it's got some cool sound effects in it. It's got some nice guitar in it. He's got a hell of a scream in it. It's pretty damn good. Now, granted, like I told everyone on the boards, and I'll take the mulligan here, I always thought that, you know, the general would have been State of Grace because I heard the clip and I'm like, the scream, all right, that's that and that's that. Now, clearly I was wrong, and I've apologized to everyone, and I'll apologize to everyone tonight on Shit Radio. Hey, my bad. I won't be speculating like that anymore. Had some bad information, and I apologize. But I'll tell you what, Monsters really delivered what you want from Guns N' Roses. You want, you know, either a ballad or you want a kick-ass rock song, and I think, you know, it's not the best. It's not great, but it's a decent song. It's a good filler on Appetite.
It's not an Appetite song. Monsters
really,
isn't an Appetite song.
It's a little bit too rap.
You don't think Monsters is kind of an updated Appetite song? I kind of do. I mean, it's the only one that actually has anything like, you know, on your strip club dancing, on your platform dancing. It's more dirty. Like everything else that we've got from the Chinese Democracy Era, there's been no vulgarity. There's been nothing talking about banging whores. There's been nothing about fun. This is the first song that's actually been about fun.
Like Rocket Queen.
Yeah, Rocket Queen
kind of has a danceable. But what I realized is that all the leaks that are coming out post CD, the album, they all have better, more open Axl Rose, Use Your Illusion type vocals. Like the most, like Monsters, that bridge that Axl was talking about in the chat, where he goes on a rant. That's what people want from Axl Rose, isn't it? In Monsters, where he's got, I don't know if that's rap, but it's something like he's really going for it, singing on the bridge.
Yeah, that's what we grew up on with Axl Rose. That's what we expect from Axl Rose. We don't want these whiny songs about, oh God, my ex, blah 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 blah. We want songs that are, you know, something that's hard rocking and something, you know, that you can jam out to. That's at least my opinion on the matter. I mean, Liars, what do you think?
I like the song. The day they got leaked, I didn't realize that it was two songs, because remember there was that rumor going around that it was Generals and Monsters was the name of the song. Anyway, so I only heard and I remember reading a lot of hate for the song and what is this and blah blah blah, and then I listened to it and I was like, this is a good song. It's probably the best of the stuff that we've gotten from them post reunion. And then I heard the General, of course, and I was like, "Oh, this is a mess. It's not a good song." But as far as like, I don't really think it's an Appetite song. I think it's kind of an evolution from. I would put like it's a Use Your Illusion 2 song for me. Yeah, but it's good. I mean, Use Your Illusion 2 is a really good album, and I think it could fit nicely into there. Hello?
Well, I like the song. You seem to like the song. Wasted, do you have anything more in depth on Monsters, or should we get to your number one fan?
Yeah, just with the general, I started out not really liking it. Like you said, the lyrics of Daddy Don't are uncomfortable and weird. But after I listened to it a few times, that kind of bypassed me, and it just got to the sort of, I like the chorus, but I think the chorus is badly recorded or something. And when I play them together, you're kind of like working through the general, and then Monsters takes over. So you kind of end up with a kind of 9-minute block, and it all works out. And I think the chorus on the general kind of rocks pretty hard, like a Nirvana or something. I don't know if you can still hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you. The guy from the dark, Justin Hawkins. I know I get a lot of flack on the forums for talking about Justin Hawkins. I actually really enjoy his podcast. He did a review of the live version that leaked of the general. I think it was from the Hollywood Bowl, and he was pretty honest about it. And I don't know, it's a cringeworthy song to me. It's an immediate turner, like station turner or song turner, whatever. But I don't know, something about it. Something about a 60-year-old man saying "Daddy don't." Like, it's just, I don't know. I don't like it.
It's one of those things where Axl's going for, like, he's almost doing it because he shouldn't. Like, this is the real lyrics and this is the real emotion. Like This I Love, he shouldn't, like, put that out. You know what I mean? Or One in a Million, he shouldn't really do it. Everybody will say,
no, Wasted. Yeah. I'm sorry to interrupt you. We're still trying to figure this out, folks. We're not as good as we were on the Fatcast just yet. We're going to be better, but we're just working on our equipment. Wasted, I got a question for you. Do you think that maybe your point of view is a little cloudy on this matter? Because when you're listening to the general, it's usually when you're, sipping on a glass of bourbon and you're staring at your favorite lampshade. I mean, just saying, that's, you might be setting up your mood.
Yeah, it's definitely a dark song. So I understand that, and that. But I just see it as like a little sort of side. It's a B-side. It's like a side project. It's a bit like Sorry. You're like getting to see some kind of psychological element of Axl, and that's kind of something that he's always done. So it's not the easiest listen, and definitely you can't just put it like it's not a radio single, is it? It's not radio rock. But I think they're doing the parallel. Hard School is more like what Old Guns fans want, and then one for Axl, which is Absurd. Perhaps is the radio rock song, and General is the one for Axl from the CD era that didn't get released. So
Sorry's always annoyed the shit out of me. Every time I hear Sorry, the only thing I hear when I'm hearing Sorry is some fucking teenage kid going, "I know you are, but what am I?" It's just a whiny song. I'm sorry for you, not sorry for me. Nah. I mean, it's just ugh.
It's kind of like bipolar.
Yeah.
Hiding in your room.
Yeah. But you know what nobody ever talks about? Nobody ever talks about, because it's widely, or at one time it was, I don't know if it is now, but it was widely regarded that the song Sorry was about Slash, right? And whether it was or not, I don't know. But nobody ever talks about that. Slash put out an album in about 2010, and with the one where he had all the different singers, and Ozzy Osbourne sings on one of those songs, and it's a hate song directly towards Axl. I remember Slash and Ozzy in an interview laughing, saying that it was about Axl. Nobody ever talks about the pettiness that was involved there. And both of them are shitty songs. What's that?
What's that?
Yes.
Yeah. Slash basically said that was Ozzy's opinion, but it was he was kind of laughing about it.
Yeah.
Kind of sort of agreed, but not maybe as serious. The lyrics are quite serious. Or was it a rose jammed by a gun or something?
Something like that. Yeah.
it's both them just being little petty bitches, acting like high school girls, just like mean girls you see them taking shots at each other left and right. It's fucking ridiculous. And now they pretend like they're buddies because they're making shit ton of money together. Yeah. Meanwhile, they haven't sat down in the last 7-8 years one time during this reunion and go, let's conduct an interview. I'm not asking them to sit in front of Kurt Loder if he's even alive still, but you can't go on Jimmy Kimmel where Axl already feels comfortable and hey, here's Slash and Axl. No, nothing. They don't do any interviews together. They don't do anything together except a few, publicity shots. Instead of that, it's, hey, it's time for the show. Okay, it's over. Have a good one. It's just, there's no relationship there. You can tell like the pettiness and the anger is still there.
I think Sorry, though, is about Nick Wall more than, there's one line that fits with Slash, but it's, the line, I'll kick your ass like I said that I would.
Yeah.
That's basically from Get in the Ring, which is kind of about the media and Nick Wall. So the Sorry is more.
I always thought the blues was about Slash, to be honest with you.
So did I. 100% I did. Yep.
Every single song, Guns N' Roses song, is about Slash.
No, they're either about Stephanie or Slash. Some reason Aaron gets no love, but fucking Stephanie and Slash is pretty much Chinese democracy. It's like, all right, Axl, so what do you want to make an album about that's going to, change music? Well, my ex-girlfriend and my ex-bandmate. You got anything else?
So,
no.
I'm reading.
No.
I'm reading the lyrics right now for "Crucify the Dead," and it's not hard to see how this is about Axl Rose. So from what I understand, on that album, Slash had a bunch of music that he sent out to singers that would then put lyrics to the song. So I think I'm correct on this. And he sent this song out to Ozzy, and Ozzy came back with these lyrics that were supposedly about Axl. And if you read, like, it's like you said, there's nothing left to burn, a loaded gun, jammed by a rose. New soldiers now say that there's a whole, I'm not going to read the whole lyrics, but, to me, you're dead. Yeah. Like, there's just so much in this, but that's funny. That's really funny.
Meanwhile, Slash was trying to be done with Scott Weiland at the time as Velvet Revolver's break up, and Azov's trying to put together Guns N' Roses as a reunion. So what a hypocritical bastard he is. All right. We can show an Axl all we want, but let's, like you said earlier, Chris, let's not forget that Slash is a petty bitch too.
He is. He really is. And I love both of them. For fuck's sakes, we're talking about them on a podcast. You know what I mean? I love both of them. I love their music. But I don't know how they don't seem like very good people to me, right? But I love them.
The only one that seems like it was a decent. Well, they probably fucked each other at one point. I mean, I don't think Slash and Axl fucked each other. I mean, sometime in the 1970s. I think sometimes in the 1970s. I mean, we probably need the Vincent Miser on here to give us the exact date that it happened at Studio 54. But those two probably had a firm fucking to go with each other. But speaking of firm fuckings, and we've talked nothing about except Guns N' Roses tonight, which that's why, I mean, the energy is just down because so far our topics have been, a manager not paying the photographer, fucking her out of her royalties, and then literally trying to Harvey Weinstein her. So hypothetically or supposedly or however we legally have to say that, but it's being reported by mainstream media. And then we decided to talk about the allegedly. That's what our lawyers are saying. If you have any questions about our lawyers, please see our dear friend Unlucky 77 on that. He will represent us.
Celino and Barnes.
Yeah. But here's what we're going to do now, because we talked to General, which is obviously maybe the most disturbing lyric song ever by Guns N' Roses. And we talked Monsters, which is, we all agree, it's a decent rock song, but it's generic as hell. So we need to talk something fun to kind of uplift our spirits. And before we started the show tonight, we're all just saying hi to each other real quick. And Chris was saying to Wasted, he goes, hey, you know what? I got to tell you something. And I'm going to let Chris say it again on the air so that the listeners can hear. And afterwards, Wasted, we're going to have to ask you a few questions. So, Chris, can you inform Wasted what you were telling them about 100%. Before the show, or inform the listeners?
100%. And I want to start this off by beginning with the forum, because Wasted was getting some hate on the forum the other day, and I came in and I tried to stop it because I was like, hey, Wasted's good shit. Like, he's fucking awesome. And I don't know who it was, but whatever, seemed to stop it, slow it down, whatever. And I'm going to Wasted. He's a fucking treasure. And I know this because him and I have been doing our podcast, and we haven't done an episode in a while. I've had some shit going on, but anyway, we've been doing a podcast for a while, and I've been really trying to push it out and promote it and get people listening, and it seems to be working. We're getting some good numbers coming in, and some of the feedback I get is Wasted specific. In particular, one of my coworkers, I got her listening. I sent her a link, and she really enjoys the show, and she made it a point to come to me and say how much she loves you, Wasted. She said that Wasted is an absolute gem. He is so good. I love listening to Wasted. Everything he says, his stories, his knowledge, everything about Wasted. So Wasted, you've got a number one fan.
I mean that's what I've been saying the whole time. I mean on the website. I mean, now and again, some people just want to. They try to girlfriend me, you know.
Yeah.
They sort of say I'm not emotionally available for them as much as they'd like. I'm kind of like a bot, you know. And I always just think it's like, Chris, like when you have that conversation where they say, "Where is this relationship going?" You know, I think we need to talk.
Well, Chris, you left a really important factor out of this.
Yes.
Wasted immediately asked, well, what does she look like? And Chris proceeds to say, hey, so Wasted, what do you think about women that are 3'11"? And at that point, I stopped the conversation. I said, no, gentlemen, no. We're not going to go any further until we're on air. Now, I don't want you to send this to your coworker because I don't want you to be in HR trying to explain what the British man over in Taiwan said. But Wasted. I stopped the conversation there, and we're gonna kick it off from where we stopped it. So 3'11". Now how old is she, Liars?
I would imagine she's somewhere in my neighborhood, in her 40s, I would say, maybe late 30s.
All right, so Wasted, she's a little younger than you, so she's younger. She's the size of, is 3'11" legally a midget?
She's a tiny girl. She's very, very tiny. She's a riot though. She's great.
Wasted, how's this working for you right now?
What, the sound?
No, not the sound. Not the sound. We're talking that there's a 3'11" woman in her late 30s to early 40s that is just she's enamored with you. Wow. She's head over heels. You've won her over, Wasted.
I'm starting a sort of a range of smaller lampshades. I have been working on a couch, like a bigger project, about a couch. So I've also got a few side projects, smaller range, dot them around the house.
No, Wasted. Now, due to her size, you could probably carry her around in like one of those baby back sacks. You know what I mean? Like, you remember the movie Total Recall where fucking Schwarzenegger as Quaid's carrying around that fucking the little like troll thing, the little prophet thing. He's carrying around in his backpack. You could probably carry her around, or Luke carried Yoda around, like
a bowling ball.
Yeah. She's got three holes too.
Jeez.
Well, like I said, don't send her the clip.
She's gonna listen to the show. She's always looking.
I'm not really going to turn you into a lampshade.
I try and do a good thing here. By bringing up one of your fans and the comments that she makes, and it's turned into this. I don't know what to make of this.
I'm just joking around.
I don't know if I like. I'm definitely not going to say her name, but this is all done from love.
It's not Bridget the midget, right?
I appreciate the praise.
Oh,
I try to prepare.
And he won't turn you into a lampshade. He will not turn you into a lampshade.
You're going to have to go deep into the archives to get the explanation on that one, like deep into the archives.
Well, speaking of deep into the archives, just promise me one thing, Wise, that you're never going to have her ask Wasted why, because that's not going to end well for her.
Why?
Why? It's okay. It's okay.
It's
This is really just trashing me now, really, isn't it?
not at all. Not at all.
Well, no, Wasted. You had no notice of the show. Neither did Liars. Neither did France. Really, I didn't. But you had the least amount of notice out of any of us. I'm like, I'll get Wasted, and so I start messaging you, and you pop on. But did you lose your hat at McDonald's? Did this happen?
I don't know. I got up. I was looking for my hat. I needed to go. I couldn't find it, and I was thinking, did I leave it at McDonald's or is it down the side of the couch? So I was looking around. So I was like 5 minutes looking around the house, and yeah, these small things bother me. So I was like shouting and swearing at furniture and stuff, and then I just decided to give up. It must be at McDonald's. I only go to McDonald's or here or the house. So where the fuck is my hat?
I'm telling you, man, inflation must not have hit Taiwan yet, because McDonald's here in the States, what used to be $5 or $6 for just your regular value meal, not talking large, just like a medium drink, medium fry, and like a Big Mac, used to be $5 or $6. Up here in the Northeast, dude, it's fucking $12 for that shit now. It's double the cost of what it is. Like, you can't eat at McDonald's. There's no such thing as a dollar menu anymore. It's basically the $5 menu. Yeah. So I don't know if in Taiwan it's hit there yet.
There's like 100 Taiwan dollars, which is about $2.50 for the meal. So maybe a little bit more, like for the Big Mac meal, maybe $1.50. So it's about $3.5 American
That's
dollars.
Insane.
And the breakfast.
Chris, what is it like up in Canada?
Yeah, it's. I went to McDonald's not too long ago, actually, and I got the combo. So that's the drink, the burger, and the fries, and it was almost $15.
I wouldn't buy it.
I don't know.
I said to the guy, I'm like, dude, I just ordered a combo. You must have made a mistake. And he's like, no, that's. I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, man, that's it's a lot of money for what I'm getting. But anyway,
no, it's a big issue, man. Like I'm worried for Wasted. If inflation hits out there, like in the West, like if inflation in the West, like in Canada and North America, hits Taiwan, I don't know what's going to happen to Wasted. He's going to go on a fucking weight loss plan like Tom Hanks in Philadelphia. I don't know what's going to happen to him.
Well, when I go to the supermarket here, I go to like the discount section and look for all the half price. Because what happens is, like Skippy peanut butter is like 200 Taiwan dollars, which is like $5 or something. I don't buy it, and nobody else does. But then after a few months, it all ends up in the discount for 100. So that's when you buy it. You have to buy all these products when they're in the discount section. Like,
there's a part of me that just wants to imagine you sitting in your house, getting drunk on cheap fucking beer, and just eating expired peanut butter with a spoon.
That's basically what I'm doing. But I switched a little bit from beer to whiskey, because whiskey is virtually free. Whiskey is like $200. It's $5 for a bottle. 700 milliliter bottle. $5 for like that's almost decent whiskey as well, from Scotland. Scotch.
Wasted. Have you been to a doctor and they look at your liver anytime in the last couple of years? I mean, that thing's got to be as black as Shaq. I mean, I have no idea how you don't have massive case of cirrhosis.
I have some kind of every time I go, like I go almost every year with like health insurance. Yeah, and normally have some kind of the readings are bad on the liver. Like I have some sort of liver damage. But I've done it before. If you don't drink for a month before the test, all those enzyme levels just turn to normal. So, and there's like a little bit of like scarring or something. That's the start.
Just a little bit of scarring.
Yeah, there's a lot like a line where the doctor pointed on it, like saying this is like scarring. I mean, it's when it gets to like 50% of the liver. If 50% of the liver, it stops it working. You know what I mean? Like if it's too scarred. But if you just got like a little bit, like it doesn't really matter that much. But it's not. The enzyme levels are not helpful. But if you stop, you're fine.
Well, I mean, I don't think it works that way, buddy. I'm pretty sure that, the 40 plus years you've been on this planet, a good, 30 of them been just pounding booze. I imagine eventually it's going to catch up on you. This whole quitting a month thing is, it's probably, I just don't see it lasting. Well, boys, it's been a fun. Yeah. Well, gentlemen, I don't know if you guys have any other topics or anything, because this was really out of the blue. We've done about an hour and 25 minutes so far of just complete nonsense and shit talk. I apologize for not being more prepared, and I really wasn't funny at all tonight, so I apologize for that. But we'll be more funny and more prepared next time. This was just major breaking news because, in my opinion, and I'll say it again, I think this could be the end of Guns N' Roses. And I'm not talking like, the Slash Duff era of Guns N' Roses. I mean, like, the end. So I guess we'll find out and see. Liars, what are your thoughts? Any final thoughts on anything tonight?
Yeah, I'm with you. It might be the end. Like I said earlier in the show, whether guilty or innocent, Axl Rose needs to not be associated with these people anymore. That's in my opinion, that would be the only option for him going forward is to do that. But we'll see, right? So yeah, I don't know. It's this whole situation, when I like, it's one of those things when I read that, like, you texted me early this morning about this. I think I was still in bed when I got the text, and I looked it up throughout the day. I can't, like, it's so stupid because I can't say I was surprised at the revelation at the news. It just, I was like,
I was a little bit.
Were you? I wasn't. I was like, well, you know what? It kind of fits the bill to me. Like, this is what.
Well,
I'm not saying I wasn't expecting it, but I was like, I'm not really all that surprised that this is what's happening.
Well, my interactions with Fernando were only through Reddit and DMs me and him would have, and every time I talked to him, he'd always be talking about what him and his family were up to. Like, him and his kids, hey, we're going to this and that. We talked, quickly about the band, but he'd ask, oh, hey, how are you? And I go, good. And I ask, how's my family? I go, good. And I'd ask him the same thing. He said, good. To me, he really presented at the time, and this is the only interactions I can base off of, that he was really a family-oriented man, and that he was a guy who was really just loving being the manager of Guns N' Roses. And, of course, he's made a shit ton of mistakes, but at the same time, he really gave off the impression he was trying to do what was best for Axl, and that it was all about family to him. So I didn't really know this other side. I've never even heard about this other side. So I was genuinely shocked, to be honest with you. And I hope it's not true. Like, God, man, I hope this is not true, because if it is true, it's horrific. It's absolutely horrible. And I don't know how Axl can justify, supporting him on this. It's like, it's a major fuck up. I mean, if Fernando did this, he should immediately come out, apologize, and they should make monetarily things right with her, and he should apologize for all his behavior and then look to figure himself the fuck out. I mean, I don't know, but I was really shocked, and I wasn't expecting this, because I've never seen any of this, never known of this behavior, and the limited. And when I mean limited, I mean, me and him weren't talking very often. I mean, I maybe have had less than a dozen conversations with him in private messages over the years, and I never saw any hints of anything like this. He always came off, like I said, as a family man who was just really happy to be the manager of Guns N' Roses, and he was doing what he thought was best for Axl. So it's a sad day. It's a shitty day, because I think this was probably going to be the end. And either way, it's crappy what happened. And I don't know. We try to make. I don't think we really made light of it. Of course, we made light of the General and Monster, because fuck them, their songs. But when there's human lives involved and human people involved, this is just it's an uncomfortable situation, and it's going to be really fucked up to see how everything plays out and hear the news that comes out after this with Fernando and what's going on with him and Kat. I mean, simple as that on my end. Wasted thoughts?
Fernando, this is it. You finally did it.
All right. I think we edit the show right there.
Perfect.
She said, don't give me no lines and keep your hands to yourself.